Welcome to Psychedelic Sunday, my psychedelic gypsies. I am so enjoying being able to hang out with you and collaborate with you on a weekly basis. You gals are so awesome. And today I have here my spirit mother guide, Colleen Quinn. And we are going to talk about the next block of programming and basically our theme for the month, which is what would you do if you were not afraid? And how did this become my theme or our theme for the next 4 weeks? It was a full moon just a couple days ago on a Tuesday, I believe.
Yep, still feeling it.
Still feeling it. That was the day of my period as well. So very intense emotions. I was so exhausted. I was drained. And I felt like I had been drugged, basically, and was just kind of lounging around all day. Luckily, I was able to do that. Was doing some work in the back 40 here at the ranch and had to come back in because I was just so tired and just wasn't feeling great. But all of these things started coming up. That old conditioning of I need to be doing more. I need to be greater. I need to blah, blah, blah. All these things started popping up. And I was starting to feel super down about myself, about, psychedelic gypsy fitness and my inability to get from A to B and, get things done, be in my masculine essence, basically. And so I was like crying on a blanket outside. And Colleen came back from work and we connected and we just had this very powerful conversation. And, she told me about, it's full moon and it's also Mercury retrograde.
Yeah. We have a few planets in retrograde, actually. Venus, Pluto, Mercury. Mm-hmm. The energies are really intense right now.
Really intense. And also I had feelings of, like, with my family, disapproving of how I was living my life, or me making stories that my family or others were disapproving of how I was leading my life. And so all of these things were coming up, and it was definitely those things, especially in our period, that veil between the conscious and the subconscious is thinned. It was all coming up. And so Colleen said to me, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And it was very powerful, because all of a sudden I said, well, if I wasn't afraid, I'd live exactly how the hell I wanted to live, which is mostly in these red overalls all the time. I would invest more into psychedelic gypsy fitness because I really believe in it and I love it and I'm just going to go for it. I would pack up all my shit and move with my man and just go for it and not worry about failing or totally fucking up my life.
Or what other people think you should do.
Exactly.
Other people's stories that we fall into, our familial stories from our families, our stories that we tell ourselves from experiences that we've had, friends that we've had, their opinions, their energy. It's just not real. You just write your own story.
Yes.
No matter what.
Yeah. And that's what I think this whole awakening for me has been about, is rewriting my own narrative. And all of a sudden I was like, that day I was able to see the old narratives I've been given and the ones that are trying to be enforced on me. And so I wanted to ask you, where did you come up with that, or why did you say that to me?
Well, I think I wanted to say that to you because I say that to myself a lot. Mm-hmm. And fear is very tricky. It's very seductive. And it likes to weave its way into things when you're trying to change yourself for the better. Yes. All of a sudden fear's right there, right in the back of your head, just like, well, what if this, what if that, what if this? And so fear really stands for false evidence appearing real. Mm-hmm. So every time someone says, what if, they're just making up a story. Well, what if this happens? What if you fall off a cliff? Well, what if I fly? Mm. I don't know, I'm not very good at remembering who says things, but when a bird sits on a branch, they don't look down and think, well, what if I fall down? They just spread their wings and fly away because they can. Mm-hmm. And, if you tell yourself that you can't, If you cannot, you cannot. If you tell yourself you can, you can. One of the most powerful statements on the planet is I am. The I am statement. I am grateful for my beautiful life. I am powerful in my own woman. I am capable of doing whatever I want to do, no matter what. And if it doesn't work for someone else, well, then that's none of your business, because it's just about you. You know, for Emily, it's about Emily and what she's doing. And no one has to agree with it, or some people can agree with it, and then you can just let them and just go along and say, okay, well, I'm good. I'm just going to keep doing this because it works for you.
Yeah.
And that's, coming back into our feminine power, which we're so far away from. But we're getting there. We're chipping away at it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what something like what you're doing is all about. It's just about that coming home to letting it be all right. We need to accept that we are powerful in our own being, and it's not to lord that over someone else. It's to develop that within ourselves.
Yes.
And come from that.
And that's what was, I think, this is a huge, because I am in this period of transformation that I did not think was going to take a whole fucking year, but it's going to be a lifetime journey, I realize. But
the taskmaster doesn't like that.
Yes.
She's like, should be done.
I have a couple months. But it was this idea, because I wasn't getting a lot done with Psychedelic Gypsy Fitness. I missed this phone call that I was supposed to take that day. I was, my head was a little bit kind of all over the place. I wasn't focused and on. And that's when the stories started to come up. And because I was just allowing myself to be that day. I was just like kind of lounging and, doing a little bit of work here and there, like feeding myself and relaxing and just allowing myself to have my moon time, which is a very like sacred ritual. And my body and my mind was giving me resistance to that. And so I think that's where the fear then popped up. It's this fear of being in our divine feminine power. Because it's scary.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm about to fall off the edge of the cliff into absolute failure and demise and a life fuck up.
And you're so not.
I'm so not. But that was my fear that day.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And so before we got on camera, you said something very powerful, which was, I think we are so afraid to speak our truth.
The feminine energy on the planet, all women are some will speak, but we're not automatically speaking our truth and being comfortable with it because of the imbalance in the world. And this imbalance and trying to get the divine feminine back is not to scare men, and Emily and I also talked about that, but it is scaring them on the collective energy. Their fear is in them and they don't know what it is, but it's the balance trying to right itself. And so people are uncomfortable and they don't know why, and planets are all going crazy and the energy is intense. And there is a lot of stuff going on with people. There's like stuff disintegrating and relationships people are going a little cuckoo. And, it's just important to ground that down and really, start, if you want to, because it is a journey and it's not easy because it goes against a lot of things in our world, in our everyday world. Like Emily and I were talking about that as well. It's like sometimes you're in and amongst human beings and you're just kind of like, I can't do this today. I cannot human being with these human beings. I must go away. I do not want to do something that I will regret.
Yeah.
And it's just so, I think because it's not, we got to stop judging and labeling and just let people get back into themselves and just be that self. In the olden days and in native cultures, the moon time in the old days, women went away and had that time doing nothing.
Yeah.
No cooking, no, tanning hides or tending children because they didn't have children obviously, but, helping with their family. And they just were allowed to be and have that finish and shed. It's a shedding time, which is also full moon, because it happened right on the full moon. That was like a boom, big shed.
Yes.
Right? Big shed.
Yeah.
That was a lot of letting go.
It was.
And this full moon was really intense about letting go. The energy is about that now. Let go of what no longer serves you. People, places, jobs, habits that no longer serve you. Behaviors, stories, whatever, negativity, let it go. Start to practice to let it go. It's not always easy. I love to hang on like a bulldog until it's just like, stop it.
And it's scary. It's so scary to let go. But what if, not what if, what would you do if you were not afraid? And that's what the only thing I want you to think about this whole week, and take stock of the things in your life that maybe you are holding back on. I've been holding back on investing more into psychedelic gypsy fitness. Not anymore. I'm going to fucking go for it, because
absolutely.
What else would I do? What? Just shut it down and, walk away with
just say, oh, well, that was fine, but I'm not doing that now.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. And on Colleen's earlier point, letting go, I read something earlier today that if it's not giving you inspiration, orgasms, or income, you should probably just let it go.
And this is a mantra I think we should adopt. I wrote it down because I'm going to use it for sure. And I have another trick with what if. So when someone says to you, oh my God, Emily, what if you do this and your life falls apart and this blah, 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 blah story, and just let them go on. And when they finally stop, hopefully soon, just look at them and go, what if I become so fucking famous that I am known throughout the world, I have my own jet, I have houses everywhere, and I'm a smashing success. What if that?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with that.
Right?
So you turn the what if around to, what if is the most fantastic thing that has ever happened to me?
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
So much better.
So much better. And so, yeah, it's just releasing this fear, or not even releasing it. I remember doing this meditation with this woman once recently, and she talked about this snake of, cosmic energy, which is then turns into Kundalini energy, which then goes into like our awakening. But she said, imagine that snake, and that cosmic snake, it could bite you. It could bite you and kill you, but you go towards it anyway. You know it. I knew that snake could fuck me up. But I walked around it anyway. I pet the snake. I was with the cool energy of this snake. And I wasn't afraid anymore, even though it is terrifying. But that's, I think, the edge we have to walk as psychedelic gypsies is, it's about to fall off into oblivion or fall off into absolutely incredibleness, or what, right?
Exactly.
It's just, you got to keep walking that line.
Well, and because it's shadow, people have always tried to suppress the shadow as well, and it's one of the important parts of our growth is to dance with your shadow, get to know her, embrace her, love her, and integrate those things back into yourself, and stop trying to hide them in the closet, because it's part of who we are. It doesn't mean they're bad, and shadow doesn't mean you're going to go out and become like an axe murderer or something like that. Your shadow side are those things that someone told you a long time ago where, no, we don't behave like that. No, we don't do things like that. Those behaviors are not acceptable here.
Right.
So that gets put away, and we repress it, and it's going to come out. So
in one way or another.
You might as well let her out and get to know her and work together. It's just way easier.
Absolutely. So this week, I just want you to write down in your journals, what would I do if I were not afraid? Because it was a very powerful question Colleen posed to me. And then it just kind of shifted everything as I was able to let go of more of that old conditioning and, that self-worth and, am I worth, actually, and I wrote in the email to them a question, something that came up for me and which we can talk about in later episodes is, am I worthy of all that could be?
Of course!
Right? And so that peeled back more layers of the onion, like, oh, yes, no, I am worthy of that. Like, so really the fear that was holding me back was this wanting to stay small and wanting to be, it was that insecurity of self, I think, ultimately. that I am totally my own woman, and I can walk my own path, and I can do it however the fuck I want to.
Exactly.
While becoming the most conscious and, not enlightened, but loving, heart opened I can.
Yes, indeed. Just bringing the best version of ourselves every day that we can. It's a lifelong journey.
Mm-hmm.
Lifelong journey. There's always something to learn and to do. And when you ask yourself, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? It's not because you have to go and act on that. You just ask yourself that, and then if you can, just give yourself some time to sit with it.
Mm-hmm.
Try it on like a new jacket and see how it feels. Right? Like, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? And really just expand on it. Like, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? Well, I would go and do whatever it is for you. And then just think about how that feels. Mm-hmm. And just think about how that is possible. Everything is possible. Right? Just because someone told someone else a long time ago that can't be done, you know what? If someone tells me that can't be done, 99.9, well, actually 100% of the time, I will figure out a way to do it. Yeah. I'm going to just be really honest. 100% of the time, I will find a way. It's like, can't be done. Give me a minute.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Just wait.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, I like that too, like sitting with it, because, again, this doesn't mean that you need to change everything overnight.
Not at all.
It just means now you're going to you're going to think about it.
Yes.
You're going to plan with it, and then maybe create that, then manifest it, and then create the actions that need to make it happen. Which, in the way of the Mysterial Woman, she does talk about, like, that delayed action.
Yes.
Again, part of our divine feminine power is being able to just sit with something.
Yes.
And say, okay.
And just, meditate on it if you want to, and it's a tool to help you to start to realize and recognize how fear comes in.
Yeah.
And how other people project that onto others just from their way of how they're used to living. Mm-hmm. And, so then you just start to notice it, and you can walk around and chuckle to yourself and think, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? And then you just think about that when you go along about your day. Mm-hmm. And, just let it come and go. And, what you need will stick. And what doesn't will go. And you journal about it if you like. And it's a very useful tool to help get you out of that, what if I fail? Well, what if you succeed? Then what? How great is that?
That's scary too.
Yeah. And then, right? Mm-hmm. So it's all, and that's so much more exhilarating that, what if I lose everything? It's just like, stop that. Words are affirmations. Be impeccable with your words. 4 agreements, please. Yes. Right? Just plugging that.
Yeah. But then also knowing that I'm also very fearful of relaxing and going with the flow and just kind of enjoying myself.
Yeah, let go and let flow.
Let go and let flow.
That's right. And so giving yourself permission. Mm-hmm. It's okay. You just tell yourself, because you be able to feel it. It's like, I should do. It's just like, well, wait a minute. No, let's just take a big deep breath and go, I think I should, just like I said to you before, sit in my pajamas all day wrapped in a blanket and stare out the window.
Right.
And somebody asked me, well, didn't you read a book? Nope, stared out the window. How long? 10 hours. What? It's great.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, so when we pose the question, what would you do if you were not afraid? It doesn't mean like taskmaster take over, get everything done,
right.
Like time to break down doors. No. Yeah. Sometimes it just means
sitting
exactly
in your pajamas,
that, right? And just being a complete poop.
Eating a half a chocolate cake at the counter, like whatever, going for a walk, meditating on why you ate half a chocolate cake, I don't know, exactly. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Just, let your mind clear.
Yes.
Is what that's about. Mm-hmm. Slowing down, taking it easy, and, letting the files clear out and not having that to-do list running through your brain like a loop that's keeping you crazy.
And just, I didn't realize how much fear was gripping me before you said that question.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, she so-and-so is mad at me and my life isn't how it should be, blah, 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 blah. It's just endless fear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes time away from yourself. So any little thing in your life, like, I'm a list maker, it keeps me sane, helps me know what I need to do. But I was telling Emily that I've started to gear my time a little bit differently, my own self. I'll do a few things after work and stuff, just so when I do have my days off, if I want to do nothing, then I just do nothing. And you start to understand, it's just like, okay, well, what will happen if I don't go to the grocery store on the day that I always go and get the things that I always get? What will happen? Will the world come to an end? No. I will actually get some extra rest. I will go for a walk more. I will do some other things that are better for me more. The grocery store's not going away.
Yeah.
Right?
Everything's going to be there.
Yeah. You can do it another time, because I am that important that I am going to learn to relax and treat myself better. Love the self first.
Yes.
Can't fill from an empty cup, pour from an empty cup.
That's right. All right, my psychedelic gypsies, have a lovely Sunday. And what would you do if you were not afraid? Take care.